Hello, what's up everyone? Max Power here and welcome back to the arena yet again. Thank you for taking the time, and now we're back again, and now we'd like to go over another deck profile video for you for Pokemon, and this is going to be none other than Mew VMax, one of the dominant tier 1 decks in the format. It still works, it's excellent, and we're going to talk a little bit about why it's so good and also go over its basic strategy. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Do spread the word out if you like this sort of thing, and we'll go over deck profile videos for Pokemon, Digimon, new releases, pack openings, any of that stuff. So if you do, please like the video, share, subscribe, tell your friends, comment, and get the word out there. But without that, let's get the show on the road. For this deck, it's going to be very simple, very easy to run, and very turnkey. The only thing is that it is a little bit, it does tie up your funds a little bit. So it took me a little while to build this one, but it's finally ready, it's finally set, and it works. We're going to start off with 4 Mew V basic Pokemon. This is essential to get your Mew VMaxes out, which of course, we're going to go over why those are so good. These have 0 retreat cost, so they're excellent. You could use the ones from Darkness Ablaze. However, if you need to use it, this is the Fusion Strike version, and also its Psychic Leap lets you deal 70 damage and return itself back to the deck, which is also usable by Mew VMax if you're in a pinch. A lot of decks that are now running Arceus, Palkia, we got Blissey, those are all using Charon's Care, which can do the same effect of recovering health and also getting them back to your hand, back to the deck. So that way you don't lose prize cards to your opponent. Next up, we're going to run 2 copies of Mew VMax. You could run 3, but 2 for me, for this deck, has actually been working very well, especially since this deck has tons of draw power, which we're going to see why. But in this case, Mew VMax is the star, and its 1A will be the next card that we show after this. But Cross Fusion Strike for 2 colorless lets you use any attack from your fusion Pokemon as long as they're on your field. This is excellent because you don't always have to use the Max Miracle, but if you do, this attack isn't affected by any effect, so it deals 130 damage. It goes through wall breakers. Well, it is a wall breaker, so it goes through Duraludon, Decidueye, and others that might repel, like Miltank from Astral Radiance that a lot of people are using to wall and stall. But its Cross Fusion Strike can use the Psychic Leap from Mew, and it can also use this next attack, which honestly is the reason this deck works so well. Genesect V is the lifeblood of this deck, and the reason that Mew VMax is so successful. Genesect V from Fusion Strike, its Fusion Strike system, once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have as many cards in your hand as you have Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. If you have 3 Fusion Strike Pokemon, you draw 3 cards. If you have 6, so a loaded bench, you draw 6 cards. Not once per turn, once per Genesect that you have out. So if you have 2 of them out, you get to use Fusion Strike system twice. If you have 3 times. If you have 4, you draw that many times. And the key then is to really just cycle the cards in your hand, discard them if you have to, use them, evolve, play, energy, what have you. Get rid of power tablets. It'll just help you draw and draw and draw, and that is why this deck is so successful, guys. And the attack you're mainly going to be using with its Mew VMax is Techno Blast, which deals 210 damage. That's your main thing. If you pair this with Choice Belt, power tablets, it goes up to 240, 270, 300, 330 if you get all of those on your way. So really, you can knock out anything in the game, and it can set up as soon as turn 1 to turn 2, guys. It is very effective, very fast. Should you need a second fiddle, well, you have Meloetta V, another Fusion Strike Pokemon. With Melodious Echo, it deals 70 damage for each Fusion Strike energy in field. Even if he has none of them, as long as he has his 2 energies, you can have 1, 2, 3. You'll be dealing 210 damage if you have those 3, and if you have 4, 280. It's high damage output, and if your opponent is caught off guard, you can actually donk them as soon as turn 2, because unless a Sparkle will help bring out those Fusion Strikes you attach for turn, you're going to be putting them in a pinch very, very soon. Oricorio Fusion Strike is actually the last Pokemon we have in this particular build. This is very flexible, but the reason why, its ability Lessons in Zeal. Basically, all your Fusion Strike Pokemon take 20 less damage. It's very good just to be a little more defensive. You just keep it on the bench. It doesn't even have to be one of the first cards you bring out. You can just bring it out later on once you got your 1 or 2 Mews. Once you have your Genesects, you're ready to go. We're going to go over the trainers now, and first, the supporters. Unless a Sparkle is very important, it's essential, because this is for strictly energy acceleration. When you play it, You get to choose 2 of your Fusion Strike Pokemon, and each one of them gets a Fusion Strike energy as long as you're able to search it and bring it out from your deck. That does not count towards your attach for turn, so you can be attaching 3 Fusion Strike energies in 1 turn, again, accelerating your Mews, accelerating your Meloettas, and it'll get you going way fast. We're going to be playing in this deck 3 copies of Boss's Orders. I wish I had more of the Cyrus, but I love Lysander too. They're just so cool. You need this. Any deck needs this. All of them do. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active you choose. You can use this early game. You can use this late game. Knock out the ones you want to knock out. Take prize cards. Map them out. It'll just save you a lot of time, and it'll jam your opponent. Speaking of jamming, this deck is a little bit different because it's not so much the turbo build with trekking shoes, but it's more of a disruption build because these are the cards I have. I think it kind of works. It might still, I'm still testing it out, but Avery seems to be a good option because you get to draw 3 cards. A lot of decks are relying on loading up your bench like Darkrai, Eternatus, Palkia, maybe even Suicune if anyone still plays those. You get to force your opponent to discard Pokemon until they have 3 on their bench. Very disruptive. You still get to draw your cards. And maybe you don't have any other supporter to use that turn. Well, it's good to just slap down an Avery and get those going. Draw some more cards, disrupt your opponent, pretty good. And speaking of drawing and disrupting, we have Marnie. Good old classic Marnie here. If you need it, shuffle your hand into your deck, your opponent as well. You draw your 5, they draw their 4. This can backfire, this can help you, but it's Marnie. You guys know how that works. Sometimes it's exactly what you need to get things going. So fortunately, I run 2. Not everyone runs Marnie in this deck, which is understandable. You don't really need the draw power. You have Genesect, it's usually more than enough. But hey, that's something you can always test out. We are playing Quick Ball. If you notice, this deck does not have Professor's Research, but for the same reason, Genesect is all you need really to draw the cards out. Quick Ball, we're going to be playing anywhere between 3 to 4. It's very standard. You drop 1 card, you get to search your deck for a basic Pokemon. I like to do this a lot with Genesect unless I pull out other things that I can help me play on the first turn, and make sure that you get your draw engine going very early, if not turn 1. You also have Ultra Ball, which is probably one of the best cards that have come out of Brilliant Stars. The reason for this is you get to discard 2 cards, search your deck for any Pokemon. This is especially useful for getting your evolutions out, like Mew VMax. Any other deck will use them. It'll be mainly for your evolution card, so you don't have to rely on evolution incense as much. And it's not a dead card if you don't need to get an evolution Pokemon, because you could get a basic after all. It's just a matter of getting what it is that you need. Speaking of getting your basics out, especially as soon as turn 1, Battle VIP Pass has to be one of the most broken cards out of that set that nobody likes. Cough cough, Fusion Strike. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them on your bench. This is only useful if it's your first turn. But trust me, we like to play 4 of these because you will see them on your first turn. And sometimes when you start drawing after only your first Genesect, you get a second Battle VIP Pass. You get a third one. You might not use the 4th one. You might use only 2. If you don't get any of them, it's very likely that you might brick. Unless you Quick Ball, get a Genesect, and get that going. But if you play 4 in your deck, you're going to give yourself the best probability that you get to see these turn 1, which is specifically when you need them. But let's say you draw a Battle VIP Pass and it's not the first turn. What do you do then? Well, Cram-O-Matic. Cram-O-Matic helps to recycle those cards so you don't have a dead hand. And unfortunately, it is a coin flip card, but it's still broken. Why? You can only use this card if you discard 1 other item in your hand. You get to discard that Battle VIP if you don't need it anymore. Flip a coin. If heads, you get to search your deck for any card you want. Anything. Pokemon, trainer, supporter, energy, whatever, it doesn't matter. Cram-O-Matic makes it happen for you. Even if you flip only 1 or 2 heads and you use all 4, you don't get to use all 4, a lot of times it'll get you just what you need, and you might have just won the game then and there. More fusion cards. We've got Power Tablet. This is pretty standard, of course. For each one you play, you get 30 more damage done from your Fusion Strike Pokemon attacks. So you don't always need this. This is useful, for example, in a mirror match. Maybe you're going up against a VMAX Pokemon that has tons of HP, which they all do. You get to buff it up, and just, or V-Stars as well. So, and if you don't need them, you can always discard because they are items. or you could just toss it if you have an advantage because you're going against like fighting type Pokemon. It's just good to have because you can either toss them, use them, and they will not be dead in your hand, fortunately. Personally, I like to play 1 or 2 switch cards in this deck because if you ever get bossed up one of your Genesect and they get stuck in the active, you can just switch it out. That's the only reason I'm playing this. Maybe I reduce it to 1, but that is a hard strategy that you can use to combat the Mew deck. Unfortunately, because Genesect has a retreat cost of about 3. No, it has a retreat cost of 2. But this deck doesn't run Air Balloon. You don't have a stadium to help swap them out, anything like that. So it's just a good idea to consider having 1 or 2 switch. Choice Belt. Very standard, very awesome. This is like Focus Band, Muscle Band, whatever you guys want to call it. It's always been around. The attacks of your Pokemon do 30 more damage to your Pokemon V that your opponent has. Every deck, unless it's a 1 prizer, is using Pokemon V. Doesn't matter if it's V Star, V Max. If it's V, 30 more damage. Very useful. Again, in the mirror match, anything that has tons of HP, maybe even Blissey V that's very tanky, definitely always worth consideration. Pretty much in any deck, honestly. If the meta ever didn't have any Vs or VMAXs, well, then it'd be a different story. Cross Switcher. The only reason you'd be playing Cross Switcher is if you want to open up your supporters to, instead of using Boss's Order, you want to use something else, like maybe an Avery, maybe a Marnie, maybe an Alessa Sparkle. You can get to switch your opponent's Pokemon and yours. But the difference between this and Escape Rope is that you choose which Pokemon your opponent is going to put in the active. That is very control oriented, very strong. I know a lot of Palkia decks play anything that uses water will likely play Cross Switcher because they want to free up that Melanie to attach an energy and then draw some cards. You'll see as they fit. This deck, I would like to put 1 other stadium or maybe 2 copies of Training Court. You'll see why I do have some basic energy in this deck. The reason is you want to be able to face off against decks that jam your special energies, like anything that's running Temple of Sinnoh, anything running Duraludon that you can't damage. Well, if you use basic energies on your Mew VMax and you still hit them, you get to attack. You won't be stuck because you don't have the right energies. Training Core helps you recycle them because we don't have too many. We don't need them. But should you lose 1 or 2, you get to get them back, use it, and still have a chance against Duraludon and those other decks that act as walls or punish you basically from using cards like these. Fusion Energy, which is a special energy. But the reason you want to play this is because, again, for Meloetta, you can use it on your Genesect. If you have to attack, you're almost never going to need this, but it's just a free energy. It's good. It also prevents all the effects of your opponent's Pokemon's abilities done to your Pokemon as long as you have the Fusion Strike energy. And also, they're just easy to bust out because you are playing 3 copies of Alessa Sparkle to accelerate that special energy. Otherwise, we just go with the Psychic basic energies. So last but not least, there's 1 other one after this, but we have Double Turbo Energy. Okay, these are very good because you can actually attach this to your Mew VMax. And this is all you need to just go ahead and cross Fusion Strike, attack with your Turbo, I forgot what it's called, Turbo Blast from Genesect for just 1 cost, the cost of 2 energy. Now, the only bad thing with this is that it reduces the attack damage output by 20, but you can buff it up with Choice Belt, with, Power Tablets, so it's not a big deal. Most decks run Choice Belts and Turbo Energy, Double Turbo Energy for that reason. It just makes it easier for you to attack sooner, first, as soon as possible. This is the last card we're going to include here. It is 3 basic copies of basic Psychic Energy. You're really going to use these for your Duraludon matchups. Anything that counters, hard counters, special energies, you'll use it for this. If not, you could just toss them. You don't need them. You can Training Court to bring them back, but it won't be a dead draw or a waste because your Mews can use them, your Mew VMax, and also your Meloettas. Guys, I want to thank you for taking out the time. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, spread the word. I am going to be putting a lot more deck profile videos. Fortunately, that's really what I wanted to focus on, as well as other things, because lately I've been kind of spending more time on deck building, strategizing, stuff like that, so I can kind of have content so I can enjoy the game because I've been dying to play. This past weekend, I was able to attend an event at PPG, just basically locals. I plan to do that a little more often because it is fun. I had a lot of, I met some new friends, people that are, you know, similar and as similar interests and stuff like that. And they, you know, kind of have similar backgrounds and walks of life. It's just really, really cool. So definitely want to thank you guys for taking the time out, and stay tuned for the next episode. See ya.